Hello YouTube, what's going on? Shaney 2K here, and today I have a very special guest from my hometown, Nazir Mule. How are you doing today, Nazir?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. How have you been, during the pandemic with everything?
With everything that's going on during the pandemic, I've just been, baseball starting back up, playing a few games, and getting practice whenever I'm not playing.
Yeah, you actually, I think you were supposed to play my friend the other day, and that's actually how he told me about you, and I looked you up. That's how I actually found you for the interview. So, yeah, he told me how much of a monster you were. You're like 6'3", right?
Yeah, like 6'3", 205, around there.
Oh my god, dude, you're a monster. And you're also, like, we're in the same graduating class, but I'm a year older than you because I think that's your birthday on your Instagram, but it's kind of nuts. Like
Yeah, I'm supposed to be a freshman going into sophomore year, but I started school early, so I'm actually a sophomore going into junior year.
Yeah, and you you just, dude, you're like the Aaron Judge of my of like our age group. But how have you stayed in shape like when everything was really on lockdown? I know baseball just started back up for you, but how are you staying in shape when everything was like totally locked down?
While everything was still locked down, I found like a local field, and I just went to practice with my travel ball coaches and a few of my teammates. It was nothing too big because the field was owned by a few. The team was owned by the town. I mean the field. Sorry, the field was owned by the town, so we couldn't have too big of a group. So it was just me and three or four guys. We went and got out working with our coaches by ourselves.
No, that's awesome. I haven't really been paying attention. Like, are you guys wearing masks while you're playing baseball now, and like team, for like the actual games, or how's that working?
Usually they have us wear masks in the dugout. They're not required while we're on the field and actually playing, but they're usually strict about having it on in the dugouts.
Okay, all right, I like that. So every athlete has like some type of pregame ritual or superstition. Do you have a big one that like you're known for, anything like that?
I don't really have one as of now. Like I don't have a pregame routine or anything like that. I'm starting to, try and find one that'll help me, in the future. But as of right now, I don't really have a routine before every game.
Oh, okay. What was like? I saw your TikTok of like I think it was like your dad asking you to throw or something like that and play catch. But like, was that your first like baseball memory, or what was your first like? What's the earliest memory of baseball you can think of?
I played t-ball when I was younger, but before that, my parents told me that when we were living in our house, one of our first houses, when I was around 2 years old, that one day they woke up and they couldn't find me, and I was 2 or 3 years old, and they went in the backyard, and I was hitting wiffle balls off a tee. That's what they told me. I mean, I don't remember it fondly, but that's what they told me. So when I was younger, we played wiffle ball in the backyard a lot with my dad or my uncle, and that was really how I started to get into it until I started playing t-ball when I was around 5 years old.
I love that. That's like that's an insane story. That's like I feel like every athlete has something weird like that. So, you wear the number two for most of your teams. Is there a big reason? I mean, I think I know, but is there a big reasoning behind wearing the number two?
A lot of people may have guessed, but growing up, I was a huge Derek Jeter fan. That was kind of like my role model, idol kind of guy, it was just how he carried himself on the field. Everybody called him the captain. He was great with his teammates. He really acted like another coach while he was on the field, and that's something I wanted to be when I grew up. So I've been wearing two since I was as young as I can remember, and I've just always kept it.
Oh yeah, no, Derek Jeter's a role model for a lot of people. Even when I was little, and I'm actually a Red Sox fan, but I remember because I grew up in New Jersey, like people would tell me about Derek Jeter and stuff, and like Derek Jeter was always a big idol of mine until I started actually like following teams. So, and you're a big Yankees fan, I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, I grew up a Yankees fan. My family is always Yankees, so I grew up around the whole the Yankee shrine.
I actually grew up as a Yankees fan for the first couple of years, and then and then most of my family's from Maine or the New England area. So then I became a Patriots fan because my entire dad's side was a Patriots fan. Now that's why I'm mostly Boston. And I didn't really watch baseball when I was watching, like, it was like 2007. I was 4, so I wasn't really watching the Yankees. But yeah, like, so I became a Red Sox fan. Half the family hates me for it. So, uh, so I was reading a thing. You had a lot of options where to play, and you stayed local, which I actually really commend you for. But why did you stay local? Why was that so big for you?
Like travel teams wise.
Yeah, and the high school you play and all that. Yeah.
I guess it was kind of because all of my family lives here in Jersey, so as a younger kid, it's kind of hard to leave all that behind.
Oh yeah.
And I've obviously gotten opportunities to play other places, go to other schools in Florida, things like that. But I had a great opportunity here. A lot of my friends from a young age are here, so I think it was my name's kind of like, I'm not famous, but my name's kind of already out there, so it's not like I need more of the exposure if I were to go to any of these other states and play baseball. Mm-hmm. So I think it wasn't something that really needed to be done, so I decided to stay local, compete with my friends, the guys I've known for a long time, and, be with my family up here in Jersey.
Yeah, I think you can safely say you're famous this year. You just hit 20,000 on Instagram. You have people like Joey Baseball. You have Overtime Larry commenting on your photos. Like, you're borderline famous. I'm surprised you're not verified yet. Like, it's kind of.
I tried it, but haven't gotten it. I don't know why. Instagram's not messing with it right now.
No, like Trey Patterson just got verified a couple months ago, and I'm friends with him. So I'm waiting for you to get your blue check.
Yeah.
But you're a pitcher. You're a pitcher, right? I'm just making sure.
Shortstop, right-handed pitcher.
Yeah. So, what do you think the hardest thing learning for pitching was?
I think kind of the right mechanics, because not everybody's the same when it comes to mechanics. Everybody's going to have that unique thing about them. And, I started off at a young age using the stretch, and then I tried the wind-up a few times, but it wasn't really working out for me, so I only throw out of the stretch now. I think it's more of a simpler way of, doing all that kind of stuff. So I think finding your delivery was probably a hard thing, and probably command. Command's the number one thing in baseball. It doesn't matter if you throw hard, you throw slow. If you put a ball right down the middle, it's going to get hit no matter how hard you throw. So I think command is something that really needs to be worked on as a pitcher.
Oh, yeah. Also, I may be wrong, but I was researching you a lot, and I found the same high school. Do you play basketball by chance?
I played my freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to for my junior and senior year, because I can't. Last year I broke my ankle for it was broken, but it wasn't broken. So it was broken to the point where I couldn't play basketball, but I could still play baseball.
But you're a freak athlete, and you figured it out.
Yeah, and I couldn't risk hurting myself, and I can't risk hurting myself these next 2 years, because these are the years that are gonna be most important and really count towards where I want to be in the future.
Oh yeah, no, I was looking it up. You were a big rebounder at your school. I saw you put up it was kind of nuts. I was reading. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that was my only job.
No, I feel that. I'm in the same position. I'm not even that tall. I just can't shoot, so I feel that. But back to baseball a little bit. So I mean, obviously you're a big kid. You're hitting home runs. What did your first home run feel like?
My first real home run was actually when I was 7 years old, and it came in Pine Hill, New Jersey. I actually have the video. My parents weren't as good back then taking videos as they are now, so as soon as I made contact and the ball was over, screaming everywhere. The camera falls and just cuts out. And that was great. I mean, I don't remember the exact feeling, but I remember it was special. I was 7 years old.
That's like signature 2012, 2013 videotaping.
Yeah.
No, you were 7?
Yeah, I was 7 when I hit my first travel home run.
That's insane. I was looking it up, I couldn't find it, but I just heard that. That's nuts. But 7, I can't even get over that. 7 years old, you hit a home run.
Yeah, fences were like 180, Those are the good days.
No, but if you could, I always ask like kind of a weird hypothetical, but so if you could go back in time to any professional baseball moment, so it could be right after 9/11 when the Yankees were playing the Diamondbacks, or anytime Babe Ruth calling a shot, and you could be in that moment to watch it happen, where would you go? Like, where would you teleport to?
That Derek Jeter home run to right field that kid stole. That was probably a good moment that I would want to experience.
No, yeah, I've seen that. That'd be kind of cool to see too. No, I could agree with that.
Yeah, so that crowd went crazy in the videos. I could just imagine if you were there living it.
Oh yeah. No, there's some crazy sports moments I'd love to be a part. Like even like not baseball, but Ray Allen shot in the corner. That'd be a nuts one.
Yeah,
like,
the Heat.
Yeah, Patriots versus Falcons, Super Bowl 53. That was one of the loudest games I've heard. So, but so coaching is really big in any aspect of sports. Coaches make players a lot of the time, especially at early ages. But who do you think the best coach you've ever had is, and like taught you the most?
I haven't had a best coach. I think all the coaches I've had up until this point have been beneficial to me, and all of them have taught me something that I use up to this day. Mm-hmm. I can't pick one out because that just wouldn't be fair to the rest of them who have helped me through my journey all these years. So all my coaches are the best in my opinion.
Yeah, and some of them are going to listen to it. No, I'm kidding.
No.
That'd be funny. You have a lot of projections. Some people are even calling you, and I've seen this on different interviews, different things, the future of baseball, which is a huge honor to receive and a big projection for you. What's the pressure like with that?
It kind of varies depending on the days, There's a lot of the time I don't think of it that much. Everybody that follows me knows what I have to offer, so anybody that's out there playing baseball, don't ever feel like you need to prove yourself to anyone, because if there's someone there that came specifically for you, they already know what you have to offer. They don't need to see something extra. You don't have to go 4 for 4 home runs. They came to see you play your game. And a lot of the times it's not even they come to see your performance. They come to see the kind of person you are. So I don't feel as much pressure as often. But then there's other times, where you perform bad. You could you could get home, not be too happy about it. Mm-hmm. But during those times are the times you really, those are the times that you decide who you want to be. Do you want to be the one that, goes out the next day and you're still thinking about yesterday and you do that again? Or do you want to learn from the experience and figure out what you could do better?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, whenever that happens, it's important to keep a positive state of mind.
No, 100%. And even away from, playing baseball every day, not every 15-year-old, 16-year-old kid has 20K on Instagram. What's that like also, the pressure behind that, making sure you say the right things, even in school, over text, anything like that? How does that feel day to day?
That's something that I've been getting used to over time, because no matter how many followers you have, it's always good to be a good person. Mm-hmm. So if you have 1,000 followers, you have 20,000 followers, that shouldn't change who you become and who you are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just stay the same person always.
No.
Fame changes a lot of people, but it's the ones that don't change that really, make it to where they want to be, and the ones that everybody looks at as hey, that's a good person.
Yeah, 100%. I can see you're real. I don't think, even if you had 5 followers, I don't think you'd be much different.
Mm-hmm.
And it means a lot that you did an interview with someone with under 500 subscribers, because you've done bigger interviews, but that's cool. So I have a big question. Rivals are also important, just like coaches. Rivals are very important. They fuel you to get up at 4:30 in the morning, start working out, just to be better than them when you play them. Who's the biggest rival you've had so far in your career?
I like looking at, because a lot of teams have not standards, but they have reputations that, hey, these are the best guys in the country. These are the guys that everybody wants to play for. You know, at any time, I play every game like it's my last. But, you know, when you play those teams that everybody knows is really good, it really pushes you to do better. Mm-hmm. Like, Canes, for example, you know, Canes National. Everybody knows that those guys are great.
Oh, yeah.
And I had the opportunity to pitch against them last year in the Perfect Game World Series. And once I came into that game, I knew, like, I had to be on my A game because if anything goes wrong, they're not going to miss it. Mm-hmm. So that was a great game. I actually didn't start that game. It was a semifinal game for the Perfect Game World Series. I actually didn't start. They started another person. Kid got into some trouble. He got one out, bases loaded first inning. They bring me in, and I throw 6 2/3 shutout. I had 9 to 12 Ks. I don't remember the number exactly, but yeah, basically 7-inning shutout. And that was when, you know, things really started to take off. Like, hey, this kid threw a shutout against Canes, who I'm pretty sure was number 1 in the Perfect Game travel ball rankings last year.
Oh, yeah. No, but also...
So, yeah, it's the games like that.
No, 100%. And, like, I mean, rivalries are big in sports, but that's awesome that it wasn't even that it was just, like, a big game. Like, you also had to not shut people up, but, like, you proved yourself to the max in that because you didn't start, different things like that. So that's kind of incredible.
Yeah, because there's always those people on Instagram, you know, they're like, hey, this kid's good because he doesn't play good competition. So when you play against that good competition, it feels good when you can go out there and, you know, play how you play against everybody. You know, I want to say dominate because that's what I feel like I do at times. Mm-hmm. So it feels good when you could go out there and dominate some of the top competition that there is in the country.
Oh yeah, 100%. No, I can totally. I mean, obviously I can't see it, but I can imagine it for 100%. But you know, I always, if there was one thing you could be the best at, like the hardest hitter, like anything, like anything you could add to your game that you'd be the best of all time at, what would it be?
Probably hitting, because you know everybody sees me like, hey, this kid's gonna be a PO. Like, I'm a good hitter. I'm an above average hitter age, but there's times, you know, where I struggle at the plate. I don't tend to struggle as much pitching as I do hitting. You know, when it comes to pitching, I'm usually dominant, mm-hmm. and I'm over everybody when it comes to skill level and things like that. But then hitting is just a completely different aspect. Like hitting, I want to say hitting, for me, hitting is a lot harder than pitching is.
No,
so I would probably be a good hitter. I would want to be the best hitter.
Yeah, and like you said, you're above average, but when was the moment, like, because you're one of the best in the country for your age, when was the moment that you realized, like, what age did you realize, I'm different, I'm better than everyone else on this field? Like, when did you realize that?
Well, a lot of my younger career, I played against kids way older than me, so it wouldn't really show when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like, when I was 5 years old, I was playing 10 and under. So I was playing against kids that are 5 years older than me. Mm-hmm. So at that time, it wasn't really anything like, oh, this kid's crazy.
Yeah.
But as I started to play my old age group, I played, when I turned 7, I started playing with kids my own age, and that's when I started to, you know, I started to dominate. Like I said, I started getting my name out there more. I played in the Little League World Series, not the one on TV, but a different one that's in Texas. Mm-hmm. And I got MVP of that tournament. And then I think once I started getting around 12, 13 is when I started to, you know, like, my name really started to get out there because of how hard I was throwing. You know, I was hitting a lot better. So when I was 13, when I was 12, I topped pitching. When I was 12, I topped at around 80, mid-80s, low 80s. Uh-huh. And that wasn't really heard of at the time. And then once I turned 13, I topped at 89. And, like a month after I turned 14, I hit 90. And, you know, that was really a big deal because there's not many 14-year-olds around the country throwing 90. Well, there is now, but at the time, 2 years ago, there weren't many 14-year-olds throwing 90 miles an hour. And that's when stuff really started to, you know, go up, I guess. I started getting invited to a lot more events, a lot more important events. And yeah, I've been improving ever since. I went from throwing 90 at 14 to now topping 96. I topped that 94 when I was 14 last year, and now I'm topping 96 at 15. So everything's really, I'm really improving.
No, 100%. Because I was looking at it, and like you can see most of like when you hit this mark and all that, and like you, I'm saying it like some people are gonna. Like, I always joke at, like, basketball games, there's a huge kid drug test. People are going to start asking you for drug tests, dude. You are...
100%.
You're a different...
Birth certificates, all that.
You're a different breed in baseball. But, you know, we're coming towards the end of the interview. It's always, like, a staple of the interviews to ask... this is, like, the big question I end with. In life, like, not even just baseball, after baseball, whatever you do, after college, if you go pro, which I assume you will... What do you want to be remembered for? What do you want your legacy to be when it's all said and done? Everything.
I mean, obviously, I want to be known as a great baseball player, but hopefully, because anything can go wrong at any given moment, you know, God forbid, I want to be a great person, you know. I want to be a great person to my family, my friends, all the people around me. I want to be somebody that, you know, like, get older and they look at, like, hey, this kid wasn't a jerk when he was younger because of all the talent and all the talent and fame he had when he was a kid. You know, he wasn't cocky. He didn't, you know, brag to every person. I want to hopefully be somebody that they look back and, hey, this kid was a good person. He helped all the people around him. Because, like I said, anything could go wrong. You know, God forbid I get injured, and that's the end of the baseball career. I mean, I know it happens to a lot of people, and it sucks. So I think it's really important to, you know, not take stuff for granted and be the best person you could be.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Well, I want to thank you again, Nazir. This was a great interview. You're actually, like, I feel like every person I do hits, like, a different thing. You are, officially, the most you have the most followers of anyone I've ever interviewed. You're also the first person, I believe, from New Jersey I've interviewed, and actually from my hometown of Patterson, so that means a lot. But I wish you luck during the pandemic, with baseball, everything, and with your career and all that. God bless, man. If you want to say anything at the end, I'm going to link all your socials down below, your Twitter, Instagram. But if you want to say anything to end it, it's up to you.
I mean, like I said, you know, anybody out there that wants to be something bigger than they are now, whether it's sports or whatever line of work they want to be in, you know, don't let anybody stop you from following your dreams. Nobody's going to tell you could do it except you.
100%.
Yeah,
that's a great way to end it, man.
That's what I want to leave.
Yep, that's a great way to end it, man. That's all for the video, guys. If you enjoyed watching, like the video, subscribe, and check out all of Nazir's socials. That's all. Peace out.